Hey, what is up, everybody? Nope, over here. Nope, down,
Right
down.
there. Oh, over here.
Right there.
Yep.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Joey Schmoey, and we are back for another episode of the Raptorstrike podcast. This time, I am in Lubbock. It's cold out here, Thafrioka. It is right now. What is it in Lubbock? I'm using my phone right now for FaceTime. I don't know if y'all can really see me on screen, but
yes, they can see you.
Lubbock, where it is cold as blank. I'm out here for work, so we're doing a hybrid stream today. The guys pre-recorded a video with a very special guest. Noah, do you want to introduce that very special guest?
Very special guest for episode number 47. We have the Kyle Farley. He was in the studio earlier today, and like Joey mentioned, this is Raptorstrike's very first hybrid episode. So we will be here. So if y'all have any questions or y'all want to throw something into the chat, we will be here to respond. Unlike Chingle Blink's episode where it was completely pre-recorded, we're going to be opening live. We'll talk with y'all. We're going to play the video that was recorded earlier today. And then once that ends, we'll come back again live and close out the show. But the main thing is the show's got to go on. We know that a lot of y'all enjoy watching a lot of the content that we have coming out of from here. We're trying to schedule things pretty specifically so we can have something very nice for the start of 2025. So we have Joey with us. He will be on although he may not be here, he is still here with us, and the show must go on, and that's just how we roll. So luckily, even with it being around the holiday time, it is really hard to get, just people's schedules all together in one fell swoop. So again, thank you so much to Kyle for coming out here and, making some time for us to just sit down and talk. Sal, is there anything?
No, I don't have anything to add.
No? All right. So, as I explained, you're going to see some recording that we did earlier today. But besides that, Joey, is there anything you'd like to say?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Well, take it away past me, and we'll jump right into it. All right. So, everybody, welcome to Raptorstrike's first hybrid episode, as we explained earlier, that you saw at 8 p.m. This is not 8 p.m.
100%.
But we are still in the studio. I'm not Joey, as we've already called out. That's Sal. And in the studio today, we have
The Kyle Farley.
the Kyle Farley. Here we are. So you've heard the name multiple times throughout the run of our podcast. Now we can finally put a face to the name, who he is, why he does what he does, and just why is he awesome. Those are the topics we're going to go over today, and we've just had a lot of great memories with Kyle, and Kyle, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. It's the holidays. It's probably the worst time to ask for people to get some time to come in, but I do appreciate it, and
No problem at all.
I hope y'all enjoy. So, I guess rolling into this, what got you into the off-road world? Like, where did that entry become, and it just starts growing?
I grew up Pacific Northwest, so top of California, right on the coast. So growing up in the country of a small town of like 1,500 people, dirt bikes, taking vehicles that weren't supposed to be in the mud and in the dirt, like my stepdad's 82 Volvo spinning donuts, in the grass, and but just dirt bikes as a kid, four-wheelers, lifted trucks, stuff like that. Always just playing in the mud, normal stuff. It just worked to when I joined the military, and then my last 10 years I worked for Naval Special, and then we got 4 Gen 1 Raptors, 2011s.
Okay.
And we had 4 of them, and I was like, whoa, these are awesome trucks. And then it was like, hey, I'm gonna go drive the Raptor. And then we started doing some stuff, and I was like, the guys were with me, and I showed them hill descent control, and they're like, how'd you learn to do that? And I was like, the owner's manual in the glove box. You guys don't read owner's manuals? Like, no, we're dudes, we don't read that stuff, we don't need instructions. I'm like, apparently you do. And so I just loved them, and I drove them all the time out there, and I was like, one of these days I'm gonna get a truck. And then my best friend Rob, I'm more like my brother, I met him in the Navy, and he bought a 2013, and I was like, man, I gotta get one. So then I retired from the Navy in 2018, and I told my wife, I was like, I want a Raptor. She goes, okay, well, look and see what you want. And then so the 2019s were coming out, And then San Antonio, excuse me, San Antonio had the auto show downtown. And I was like, ooh, that Ford Performance Blue. And I was like, man, okay, I want to go see what that blue Recaro seats look like. So I went down there, and they had it up on this podium, and I was talking to the guy, and I was like, hey, can I see the interior? He's like, it's locked. And I was like, bro, I'm trying to order this truck on Monday. This was Saturday. I was like, please, I just want to see the seats. I was like, I don't even want to sit in it. And he's like, okay, let me go find the keys. So he did the door, and I kind of felt him. I'm like, I'm ordering those seats. And so then on Monday, I called up, and I ordered my 2019 in October of 18, and it showed up. It was built on my wife's birthday in February of 19, and it showed up March 12th. And I just remember that day being like, my salesman calls me, or he texts me, and he's like, hey, look what came off the truck. And so I sent it to my boss. I'm like, hey, my truck, I've been waiting months for it here. He goes, go ahead and leave. So I left work at noon, and I went and got Ashley, and I think it was like spring break had started for school. And so we get the kids, and then she's like, hey, I need a beer. So we stop, we get some beers, and then we drove up there, and it's there, Performance Blue. We're going over it, looking at it, and I just remember smiling. And one of my favorite pictures is she took from the passenger seat driving home, and you know how you are. You're like, okay, am I doing this? What's this? What is this? What's this? Ooh, look at this. You're just going through all the menus and just driving it home, and I fell in love with the truck. And I just, started looking for a group that, was into Raptors, and then I found Sorrow, San Antonio Raptor owners, and started hitting off with those guys, and Kenner and Linda and Jerry, and I was like, man, I love these trucks. And they're like, bro, you gotta take this thing out to Rally Ready. And I was like, what's Rally Ready? And they're like, it's off-road. And I was like, well, let's do it. And so I get out there, and I was like, part of me, everybody's probably jumped something they shouldn't have jumped. You know what I mean? You're like, train tracks, let's go for it. And then you hit, and you hear the tires rub, and you're like, ooh, that's going to cost some money to fix. You know what I mean? And then you're like, that was the body hitting. That wasn't supposed to happen. And then we got out there, and I was like, oh, what did we take the first jump at? And they're like, just turn it off slow. And I was like, okay. And I get out there, and, the first time you're in the air, you'll never forget it, and you're like, wow, that was a soft landing.
Yeah.
Come back around, get in line again, go for it again. And you just start doing it. And I was like, hey, Texas Raptor Run's coming up. I'm like, online. You're looking at, you're like, we're doing it. You're like, babe, we're going. So I remember doing that and just loving it. And I've been to every one since. And just, all these other events. And it's just, it grows into obsession, really. So,
yeah. I mean, yeah. Would you say, you mentioned Texas Raptor Runs? I know that one's coming up in June. Is that
coming up in June?
Would you say that our truck's ready for that?
Your truck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Better question. Driver error. Do you think I'm ready for that?
We can work on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Working on that. I just found out yesterday. I don't know if it's been put out yet, but the dates are changing. Okay. And I won't be able to make it this year. Damn. So I was going to go the normal dates. I mean, the day they put it open, I think within 30 minutes I paid my tickets, and then the dates have to change because, I mean, I don't know if Trey's put this out yet, but he's going to, because Score, right, in Baja is the weekend, that weekend. Now, so
it's lined up on the same.
Score pushed it, so he won't have any of his help and all his other stuff. So he's going to have to push it, I think, to the 19th, 20th or something like that. And we have a family reunion that weekend that I tried to get out of, but sometimes it's better to go with the flow and not
against the tide.
Yeah, not piss off your wife. And so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna miss it, of course. I'm gonna be bummed, but hey, it is what it is. Sometimes life shouldn't revolve around your hobby. It should revolve around so I just don't want to keep going on that one. I don't want to dig a hole that I've already dug.
Well, words from a wise man for those y'all listening. So but going off of that, you have Rally Ready and the introduction of Raptors and Rifles, where they started doing the Raptors on the Ranch in 2023, which was the introduction to us being out there. And it went from, I think we off-roaded the truck in 2023 maybe 3 times.
I think so.
And then it just became, hey, there's all these other events that we can go to. And, it's put in work. It's only got 31,000 miles on my truck. And so the one that I like the most and I'm happy to be a part of last year and this year. I don't know how many years y'all have been doing Jumping for Joy, but when my intro, I was in a 2008 F-150 that me and my dad kind of just made look nice, that we thought looked nice, and it was a toy drive at Trader's Village. And so we did that car show, and for me to be able to go back to that, X amount of years later in my own truck and around a lot more people that have, I guess, a similar frame of mind, but going out for Jumping for Joy in 2023, then running the track, being able to go out there and just hang out with everybody. That's where we met Gumby and a ton of other people, Aaron as well. This username takes up all the spaces. You meet these people for one, and it's just
best friends.
Your family from here on out.
Yeah, it's
and with Jumping for Joy, we actually had that. Was that last weekend? I think that was last weekend.
Was it last weekend? The 7th? Yeah, a week ago.
It was last weekend.
Yeah, it was last weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had to delay the podcast.
Oh yeah. So y'all know, because y'all keep track of. we get told when we're taking too many days off.
Yes.
But for Jumping for Joy 2024, what's the annual? Is that the 4th annual, 3rd,
6th?
6th?
Yeah.
Okay.
6th.
And what brought that about?
So, friend of ours, and I don't know if you know Dan Lee. So Dan Lee, they started doing it, as part of Rally Ready, and then Texas Dave does it, and then he puts it on, and then he 50% the entry fee, and then it gets everybody out there. And they said, okay, if you bring a toy, you get $50 off your entry, so it's only $50 to run the truck. And then it just started growing from there. And even this year, when I pulled in to Buc-ee's this year, because everybody's like, oh, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Are we gonna cancel? It's raining. It's pouring down rain here. And then when I pulled into Buc-ee's and there was 18 trucks in that parking lot in the rain, it meant the world to me. I mean, I was like, because like you touched on it, this community, I've been Trans Ams, GTOs. I was always LS when I was, younger, and those are great communities, but nobody not even Jeeps, nobody touches the Raptor community. Like Gumby at the last Cycle Ranch, right? I forget who broke, but he was like, oh yeah,
Murder 50.
Yeah, he's like, go ahead, take my truck, take my trailer, take your truck here, and just let me have it back, and then on our way back through town, I'll drop you off. Who does that? Yeah. Or like Victor. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's like, somebody else broke something. He's like, hey, I'll tow it for you. Yeah, I'll tow it. And then you try to give the guys money, and they're like, no. You know what I mean? Like no other community does that.
Yeah, it's that, or it's a favor for a favor, and it just that line keeps going.
Burger.
But, or well, that's really the rap. Hey, just give me something to drink and some food, man. That's it.
Yeah. Like give me a couple bean, cheese, and bacon tacos and a Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
We'll call it even.
We'll call it even.
Yeah, or Monster. Yeah, and like you said, and Jumping for Joy. That we'll get back to that. Sorry, and it's something to me that just it means the world. Like I love tour. I love doing those events. I love doing the time trial series. Because just like anybody, like you said, like in 2019, I bought my truck, didn't know much about it. They do the time trial series, and for years, I was always in the stock class, factory shocks, and I was last year after year. Like I want to say 3 years in a row, I was close to last. And then, but that whole time, it was like me learning the truck, learning how to drive the truck. How does it handle like this? And then add a part. Okay, yeah, this did this. Oh yeah, more power. Oh, brakes, huge. And then, brakes are huge. Those are a huge thing. And just learning to drive the truck. And then all of a sudden it's like third, second, first. And it's learning the truck. And I love doing that with tour. And then Ian was doing, Jumping for Joy. And then, we started going through that, and then Dan was transferring because he's an officer in the Air Force, and he was just here for dental school, and then he transferred. I think he's in Arizona now, and he's like, hey, you guys want to take this over? And then it was me and Nate last year, maybe it was the year before that. And then Nate doesn't have a Raptor anymore, but he's like, hey, do you want to take it over? So I was like, well, I'm already doing tour, so I might as well take over Jumping for Joy. And we did Jumping for Joy last year, and it was like 56 trucks.
Yeah,
it was monstrous.
Huge.
I mean, it was.
We have that for those of y'all that haven't seen it yet. We have that one up.
Yeah, where the big truck almost rolls on that one turn, and
Yeah.
then the helicopter's there. You're like, what event? I mean, what a small event like that. TRR, yes, I could see it, helicopter. But a small event like that, having a helicopter, you know what I mean? And that was the most toys ever, was last year. But I mean, it makes sense because 56 trucks. Now, if nobody's seen the video I put up from last weekend, like, it was to the roof of the Tahoe. So
Yeah.
I would say maybe 30 or 40 more toys for 50 something, and for 27 trucks last weekend that showed up in the rain. And a lot of the guys didn't run in the mud, they were just like, nope, hey Kyle, it's fine, just group, thanks for the food, we're here for the people. I'm not spending 9 hours cleaning the mud out of the bottom of my truck like Kenny or even me. I only did 4 laps in my truck because it got pretty bad. But some people hate doing that, so they're like, no, we're here for the toys, that's what this is about. And it was awesome. Like it you know what I mean? Like
That was my first time running in the mud, and I'm still trying to clean it. So I'm still paying for that. But I mean, would I do it again? In a heartbeat.
Yeah,
all over again.
It's a total different experience. A lot of people don't understand. The driving is totally different, and you're like, woo, woo, woo. But it's the same thing as like when you run a lap and you get that adrenaline and you get back and you're just like your hand. That's part of the reason we do it too, because it's
Steering
just
inputs become steering suggestions.
Yeah, that's what.
you're like, I got it.
Yeah,
And you're
because
like,
I took Alex's for a ride,
Yeah.
and they have a video that I need to post. But they show the mud going on the windshield and on the panoramic roof.
Yeah.
And he's like, you saw nothing when the mud came on there, but you just kept going. They go, why didn't you slow down? I said, well, the last thing I saw, I was going straight. I go, now if I felt it move, I would have been screaming with you. Everybody be quiet. I'm screaming too. I'm scared. All right. I'm just as scared as you guys are. It was out on the exit towards that one almost got everybody, like one after another. And we have another video that I believe Everett took. He was taking a video of the side of my truck, and you hear everyone in the background like, I almost slid into that fence. Like, I think it was you and Nathan yelling at each other. He's like, I almost slid into that fence. And you're like, me too. Like, everyone went sideways right at the end. So
that fence is everybody's nemesis when it's dry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that fence is where I make a lot of my time up, because most people go into it break. But the way you're supposed to go into that fence is it's a right-hand turn, but it's a right, left, right.
Okay.
It's a right, get the truck moving, go back left, get the truck sliding, and then you come back, so right, left,
That way
and then you're turning right. And so that way the rear end of the truck just
Should be
slides
sideways through
and
that.
it slides through it. Like one of my favorite videos is the drone. Oh, sorry about the mic. One of my favorite videos is you can see, and the drone comes around, right? And then it gets us, and it's me and my son, and you just see him like, and he's holding on to the handle at the side, and he's like, you know what I mean? And it was a perfect slide, and it was...
Unfortunately for last year with the drone footage, I had one where I kind of lost the control at the gate, and so I had to come to a complete stop. The bad part is a drone was following me, but what happened was, I think halfway through the track, you hear it on the recording, the battery's dying, beeping, so you just see it like kind of spread off. I was like, oh, and that was the one that I almost died. I wanted that memory forever.
Yeah.
But maybe next time. But I really enjoyed that event. I mean, I went out there in I was gonna wear the Grinch costume on the way there, or at least to Buc-ee's. It was just too cold. Like, okay, never mind. I'll change when we get there. So I got there, opened both doors, kind of he was helping your foot in the armhole. I'm like, oh, hold on. No wonder this thing didn't fit. I knew it shrunk in the dryer or something. Something happened. But
like this shirt, right? Shrunk in the dryer, yeah.
Then I got into the thing, and we had already packed all the toys in that big old bag, and so that's how I came out the side of the truck holding the bag. I'm like, you know what? I stole these toys from kids that didn't deserve them, so we're gonna leave them here. But I'll see if I can get some pictures and kind of overlay them, so that way when people are watching, they can see the back of your Suburban, or to the Tahoe. We have the picture of that, or the video. Just play it with no sound. But I had a ton of fun. I was really happy to see the turnout, and like you're saying, even in the rain.
Yeah.
You have car shows or car meets, or Sunday morning that nobody's gonna go. It's like, no, it's raining. We're not even gonna go outside. And
I'm taking out my bone stock Corvette.
Yeah. Well, my thing was like, the truck's got a mud mode. You know, if we can run the track, cool. You know, usually a lot of tracks that I've seen, you know, if it's raining, it's just like, all right, we're not going at all. So I was surprised when Rally had said, you know,
Dave was like, go for it. I was like,
it's your funeral.
you saw it at the end, like those ruts at the starting line were like that deep.
Oh yeah.
And it was just, he's just gonna bust it out there with the Bobcat and smooth it back out. But yeah, it was the chosen few who did it. You know what I mean? But it made for great pictures. Like Kenny's pictures, some of the sliding ones, and then you can see like chunks of mud this big just flying up in the air, and it's just. Yeah, okay. We all saw his video afterwards too, where the steering wheel was just shaking and
got that death wobble going.
He's like, I had already rinsed it off once. That was after the first time, and then he's like, let's see if it gets smoother. You can see where it goes 52, so it goes up to 70, and it just gets so worse, and you're like, no.
Oh man,
all the mud packed in the wheels.
Oh, mine did the same thing. On the way home, I didn't go above 65 because it started to shake. And it's
I didn't even think about that. I was there driving in the rain with Sal. Like, you would have.
I would have felt it.
I'm taking you with me, buddy. I'm taking you with me.
It felt smooth. I didn't feel anything.
Well, if you didn't stop too, a lot of times what'll happen is it'll get caked. That stuff's like clay, that thick stuff. And what happens is it'll get stuck, and then if it starts to dry, it'll start to bake on there, and then it's just. You probably spun the wheels some more after you came out of it. You know what I mean? So it's just
yeah. I didn't think about that. Some of the other stuff is the reason why your name is so popular on the podcast is because whenever parts on the truck, you're my parts guy. Like that's, now I have Apollo. I still have Apollo optics on the truck, so I need to get that corrected because now it's Apollo off road.
It is Apollo off road now.
And bumpers. Wheels, the limit straps, all of those have come through y'all. What is your take on working with Apollo off-road, or like how did that happen?
Let's see, when was it? So I was always, I mean, that's who my guy was. So Nick at Apollo, I bought bumpers, wheels, I mean, just everything, you know what I mean? Like all my cob parts, like my tune, I bought all my stuff through them. And so basically over time, me and Nick became friends, and I would just call him and be like, oh yeah, I'm busy. Okay, cool. Call him back later. And we just BS, and we just talk and talk and talk, and we became friends. And he's like, what do you want to do next? I'm going to do this and do this. And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah. Well, let me know if you got any more questions. Just basically what I do now, and a lot of times it's salesmanship, but at the same time, we became friends. And he was just going through where it was just him. And he's like, man, he was kind of just venting to me. And it was like, yeah, getting, not overworked, but it's like, a lot of pokers in the fire, trying to get everything done. And I was like, well, if you need help, just let me know. He goes, well, I know you know a lot about, because, I live, eat, breathe this. And so I've always just researched beyond what I'm supposed to. And I love learning about it and getting better and better and learning. And, like anything, nobody knows everything. So you learn it from other people too. And I was like, if you need help, let me know. So we just talked about it for a while. And then he taught me the way, how you do certain things, how you do posts, how you do this. And, he's like, yeah, let's try it. So I started working from him. And so June? Was it June? Yeah, June of last 23. Okay. Yeah, so I started June of 23 with him, and then just been going from there. And then but I love it. Like, I think sometimes when I talk to people, like most people like to do messages, but a lot of people talk on the phone, and I think sometimes I talk too much. Right? I mean, my wife tells me that, but
same.
I think I talk too much, but I think when it comes to parts and stuff, I don't think there really is an over explanation. You know what I mean? I think people are like, no, I wanted to know that. Oh, I have this option. Yeah. And so I think that me being a talker, it helps because, the job, I'm an instructor. So I do love to talk. So it plays into it. Like, people want to know, oh, well, yeah, he does know this. Yeah. This part goes with this. And a lot of times some people, I think they see it as I'm trying to sell them extra stuff, but I'm not. I want to know your end goal, because I hate it when somebody's like, no, I want to buy this, and you buy this. And then they're like, okay, I bought this stock location intercooler. And then down the road, they're like, I want to go with this frame cut bumper. Well, bro, I tried to ask you, you can't. Now you have to buy a whole nother intercooler. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's why I ask. I don't like people spending money twice. Let's outline so that this is the one you need, this is the one you need. And like everybody, nobody has all the money. Well, some people do, but most people don't have all the money in the world. So
Yeah.
like even me, I like the parts for the truck now. Like those shocks were sitting in my not living room, but dining room for 2 years. You know what I mean? So it's like even me, it's like you got to pile up parts and then boom, we're ready, put them all on.
Yeah.
So it's that's why I try to talk to people about what your goals are. So that way, you know, I know money's hard to come by, especially nowadays. And it's like, you know, people save. And this is their love, you know, to most people, their truck, that's their baby, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, do it right. And, you know, and I think I'm hoping, and I think it does. I think it comes through that I truly care about people, and that I want you to be able to reach your goals, because I want you to be able to do what I do, because I love these trucks. I'm amazed with them. And it's just, you know, I want people to experience the same thing. That's why I like these events where they bring out veterans, you know, and I love it that people actually get to enjoy it and experience it. Because, you know, there's so much stuff out there. People are like, oh yeah, the Raptor's not that good. It's not that good. And, you know, people like to talk crap because it's brands and this and that. But at the same time, if you've never done it and you've never ridden in these trucks, just like,
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean,
Give it a shot.
driving ours, you know, mine and yours, they're great. Now, I've driven other Gen 3s. Now, driving new 24, 37, game changer.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Oh, I
No.
want one.
Yeah.
Ashley wants
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I was gonna say here.
She said it last night. She's like, I was like, yeah, we could do this and do this with the Tahoe. And she goes, you mean my 24, 37? I was like, she still wants one. Okay, all right. It looks like somebody's gonna get a new truck in 25. But yeah, I mean, I was like, maybe pump the brakes. I just bought another new truck. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't do too much. But I forgot what got us into that.
That's why I got the Crown Vic. That's the daily driver to really knock me back into reality. Like, what's your joke all the time? Remember your tax bracket? So, but I've been using the Raptor for work because the Crown Vic doesn't have a heater. So,
oh, man.
So I have contractors that always see me in the Crown Vic, and then I pull up in that, right? And they're like, "The hell is that? Where did you hide that thing away?" I was like, "I was cold this morning, and this one has a heater, so that's why I'm in it." Like, I don't want to hear nothing.
It reminded me of like one of those old movies, like where they're camping and they have that steel fireplace, you know, in the camp. You know, I could see you. You're like, all right, cutting a hole in the roof. You know, and you put one of those stoves and you're stoking it with wood, and it's smoking like a diesel going down the highway.
So the other part about that Crown Vic is it doesn't have a passenger seat, because I was trying to upgrade to like 2014 Mustang. Stop it, Sal. I was trying to upgrade to 2014.
That wasn't a good project, then, huh?
Well, luckily I
It
started.
doesn't have a passenger seat,
Yeah,
so
well,
no, it wasn't a good project.
Luckily I started with the passenger seat, and I had already chopped it up, and then I got the 2014, and I'm like, oh, I can't put these together. I was trying to take the bracket from the 99 and put it on the 14 seat. And I was like, well, I'm stupid and I can't do that. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just replace it. I think it's been like 2 years. Still no front seat. So if anybody rides with me, I'm like, you can either sit in the back or sit on the floor, you know.
Get him a milk crate. Put a milk crate.
Milk crate. Yeah, that'll be
Camping
good.
chair.
Okay.
Yeah, I had
Put the seatbelt back in.
so you can be in it. But one thing I do want to do is once I get another daily driver, I want to off-road the Crown Vic. So I've been talking with Gumby of ideas of like, how can I can
travel.
yeah, I can jump this Crown Vic once. You know, you can do everything once.
Yeah.
But the funny parts about all that is just, you know, these cars take you different places, and you never know like what you're gonna get into.
No.
Even with like all the Raptor stuff, and you know, let me take a step back. A perfect story or example of how you're saying I want to know what your end goals are, so you're not doubling up and buying a whole bunch of stuff. I initially reached out to you for bolt-on front bumpers, and you had bolt-on front bumpers at the time, and you're like, well, if you want to do a frame cut and you already have the
Behind the grill.
yeah, the what is it? The relocation,
The top mount.
yeah, the front mount intercooler. You're like, I'm going to a frame cut, so there's really no reason for you to do a bolt-on if you're just going to get a frame cut in the end, anyways.
Yeah.
So skip the what is it? The emo phase. I skipped the me being scared of cutting the frame to all right. Well, we might as well just go straight to
Just go for it.
yeah, just go for it.
Oh,
So-
there's nothing wrong there. I was scared of mine. Like I didn't do the first cut on my frame. Like Nate came over and I was like, we measured like 5 times. You know what I mean? And we're like, that's right, but let's go a 1/4 inch knot because you can't put the frame back on. You know?
Yeah.
So I was like, Nate, will you make the first cut? I said, once it's that initial cut, I'm good, but I can't do it. Like you probably I think with your
like
rear, your rail still needs to
Yeah,
be cut.
the rear dovetails, I can't do it.
Yeah,
It's like I had a Mustang. We were going to put a spoiler on it. And I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So I had this
Oh
dude,
yeah,
my dad.
he had me drill the hole. I had him
Hey,
drill the hole.
once you do it and it's done, like I gave you permission, but I can't hit the button. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. I got the rest.
I got the rest.
Cut it off. You know, it's like,
So I think on the passenger side horn, we did good. We cut it one shot. The driver side, I think I had to cut it
That
2
was
or
the
3
first one,
times.
no?
Yeah, that was the first one we cut. And
because
so
you don't want to cut off too much. You can't like put some bubble gum there.
yeah, let me try to tack weld this thing back on there.
Like,
Yeah. So, but I actually killed my Sawzall. It was a battery operated one. So I actually went to Mr. Long's case. He's like, I got this. I go, I know this one's good. It's, you plug this bastard in and
runs on 220. Yeah.
that thing was like a hot knife through butter, man.
Yeah,
Mine
sure.
was, you were there like, it was just waiting.
Your
for it to go.
arms are moving more than
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I need to get the bedsides cut. So that's something I just I can't do that one. That one's I need you and Kenny to come out here to
We'll do it.
the double team that one because I know it's gonna look great once it's done.
Well, just like I can't, like when we do the rear, when I finish the rear of the truck, I can't cut those holes in the corner of the bed. Oh my God, forever.
Yeah.
Okay, bumpers are bumpers. You know what I mean? But when you cut the hole in the bed to do shocks,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
You're like, there ain't no coming back from that. Yeah, that's not a cheap fix. You're like, oh, brand new bed after that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
We'll do a full swap.
So if I ever do that with my truck, I'm probably gonna have to just buy another bed and leave the stock one for.
Yeah, is it next? I think it's next weekend. We're Raptor swapping yours.
I think so.
Is it? Let me look at
What
the.
is it? What's the calendar say?
No, 2 weeks.
Okay.
So in 2 weeks, he's got all his parts, and he has actually that silver.
Sitting with a broken ball joint.
Yeah, will be Raptor swapped. So he's been taking it out on the track, not too crazy, but enough to where he's like, you know what, I want to leave the ground. I want to leave the ground next time.
I did it once, but I didn't take it fast enough, and it just ended up belly flopping twice off the
That's
end
true.
of the perm.
And then he just sent his ball joint to the grave.
Yeah.
But so this year we had pumpkin spice rally.
yes,
So I actually bunked with you and your family. So thank you to you and your wife for giving me a place to sleep because I was going to sleep in the back seat of the.
actually, no.
I told him to take my tent.
we're going to unbolt the carrier and put it on my truck. But I was like, no, in my luck, I'd crack the bed sides, with the weight of that thing. But we had, that was what, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we both went to ECR that next week, and it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was just, yeah, you couldn't get rid of me.
I was like, I just saw you 2 days ago.
So,
Who are you?
and we had some of the veterans with us that were out there for the Veterans Weekend, and they're like, you guys must travel a lot together. We're like, no, I've seen each other for the last week straight.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get pretty comfortable with the person next to you. But with the I guess with going to your military ties, what was your feeling towards Raptors and rifles when you were first introduced to them?
So when I first met Brody, I was like, man, I like this, because me being a veteran, and he's like, yeah, this is what we're doing. This is our plan. We'll raise money, bring people out here. Like, if they have a Raptor, cool, we'll bring them out to the event. If they don't, we'll bring first responders, firemen, veterans, bring them out here, let them drive our trucks, let them experience this. Just get the camaraderie, because most people don't understand the. So I'll do a backstory. So like, I had a buddy of mine that we were both in the Navy together, and he got out, and I was stationed in Virginia at the time, and he came back in and was out there for a school, and I hadn't seen him in like 5 years. And me and his wife, we met up, all 4 of us, and we started talking, and me and Jesse were just BSing and doing this, and then we went to dinner and 11 o'clock. All right, cool, see you guys later. Great seeing you. And we left, and we got in the car and we went to leave. And my wife's like, I'm envious of you. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you haven't seen him in how long? And I go, like 5 years. She goes, No. She goes, it was like you were talking to him yesterday. You guys like picked up on the conversation and just started talking like you had just saw each other yesterday, and you were continuing on the conversation. And I was like, when you're in the military and you see people every day, you work with them every day, you see, blood, sweat, tears, hardships, this, that, good days, bad days, you remember those memories and you grow a bond with those people. Sometimes you see the stuff that you shouldn't see. And, it's just a bond with people that I guess you could never really break, you know what I mean? And then it doesn't even matter after that, because it molds the people to a certain way. So even if they're in other branches, Army, Marines, it doesn't matter. Even Coast Guard, Brody. And there's my little, but it molds you into a different person, right? And you have they've seen the same stuff you've seen, you know what I mean? And that if they have problems, it's probably the same problems that you have.
It's that common thread.
Yeah, it's a common thread. And so when you meet up, and especially like with this, it's like, okay, you're the same. We know how we did this. Oh, you like the same trucks we do. Oh, awesome. So it brings a camaraderie that together with those people, and it just adds an extra layer to that bond. You know what I mean? So it's and then in the end, most of the time it's helping those people, because sometimes they do have problems, right? So a lot of times, like I'm going to throw this out here, because veteran suicide is very high, right? And it is a problem. So sometimes it could be as easy as just talking to that person. Some people just don't know how to ask for help, right? I'm sure we've all been there. And I'm a big, tough, strong guy, and I'm not just guys, girls too, but I'm the big macho, and I don't need help. But sometimes we do need help, and it just needs somebody. Sometimes you don't need money, you don't need this, you just need somebody to sit there and listen and tell you that everything's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? You just need that before you go over that little tipping point, and then we lose a good person forever. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just, it's hard, So it's just, I lost my train of thought right there, but it's
I get it.
It's very dear and close to my heart, because it's veterans, and then it's people a lot of times that it's the people that are doing it too. You know what I mean? Like I've become very good friends with Brody, Kenny, Rylan, Ryan, just all, everybody, all those people, and it's just, I think it grows the community even better. And some people just come out there and be like, oh, cool, it's a cool event, I get to come jump my truck and do this, and they don't see why we're doing it. Yes, we're doing it so other people can have fun, and you can enjoy your truck, but at the same time, that money goes to bring other people out to future events. You know what I mean? It's there is a backstory to it, and why it's important to keep it going and keep supporting it, because it supports people that need that little bit of help. They need that talk, because you never know, like, I mean, somebody could not even really be asking for help in the way that they're out, but arm around them, hey, we're doing good, we're having a fun time, a couple of laughs, that could be all they need too, because they didn't ask for help, but at the same time they're like, somebody cares about me, somebody's doing this, I'll stick around. You know what I mean?
So some of the things is what I've learned in my experience is some of the biggest frowns are hidden behind the biggest smiles.
Yes, that is so true.
There's a lot of times where it's energy goes towards the wrong people that are really showing that they need help, and it's one of those things of other people want to help because they know what it feels like.
Yes.
And you have the people that want to pay it forward, and we don't want anyone to be either feel left out or just lost, or there's a lot of things in between where the issue of mental health is hard to talk about in general, whether you're a veteran, whether you're a teenager, whether you're male, female, XYZ, the list goes on, and it's something that one thing that we've always said on the Raptorstrike podcast is whether we're going to be straightforward with our audience in the sense of you're going to share our successes as well as we're going to share our losses, our when we're unsuccessful,
your failures,
and if there's anything within there that helps the people that are listening, whether now or in the future, it just makes it all the world's better. You know, there's some people out there that in their mind, they're like, you know what, I did all this alone. I had to do it alone. And there's people that are asking for help, and I had to figure it out by myself. They should figure it out.
Yeah.
That's not my way of thinking, in the sense of, if there's something I went through and you're just now going through it, if there's anything I did that can help you, it makes it all worth it. You know, the Raptorstrike name, we're not out here to make money. We're not out here to make a profit. That's not any of the part. Now, let me put the blame on me. I've put ourselves in some pretty bad financial situations because we're trying to push and support as much as we can.
It was a team effort.
It was a team effort of, this is a bad financial decision.
Yeah.
But Joey, Sal, and myself, I like to say we've seen each other at our lowest. And I say that because I don't want us to go any farther than we've already done, you know, in the past before Raptorstrike. And we want to bring up everyone that is here with us, you know, whether that's Apollo Off-Road, the Kyle Farley, Raptors and Rifles, Brody, Kenny, and everyone else that I have a long list of people that they heard the idea, they support us, and we also want to pay that support back. So whenever there's an event for Raptors and Rifles, we're going to be out there. I'm not a veteran by any stretch of the word. You know, Sal's not a veteran, Joey's not a veteran. My dad's a veteran. And as well as he used to work with the police department of the local, you know, school district. But a lot of the things that y'all sacrificed, we didn't have to, because y'all did it. And that's to every veteran out there. And I think a lot of people forget that. I know a lot of people forget that. And so the veteran community gets left out a lot. And it's sad. It's sad to see. It's sad to hear. And like you're saying, we lose a lot of great people every day because it's just, there's not that common courtesy to even think about it and say, like, you know, this person is the way they are because they've put themselves out there. There was a quote that I read one day that said, the people that are in the military in that protect, they wrote a blank check that includes up to their life.
Yeah, when they signed their name on the dotted line, they signed a check up into my
life.
Yeah, my life. Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that forget about that. And we want to show that message of, sure, you know, you got the police officers, first responders. There's bad eggs. There's going to be bad Raptor owners. There's going to be bad Jeep owners. There's going to be bad cops, good cops. We're focusing on the good.
Yep.
We know there's bad, but we want to focus on the good. And just like for Thanksgiving, I don't know if everybody saw the story. I didn't put it on the post. I put it on the story. But if there was any active duty or veterans that were in San Antonio, for Raptorstrike's table, our table was open. If you know, my mom, I have a lot of cousins in the military as well, and her biggest thing is she doesn't like anyone left out. If you don't have family, guess what? You're our family now. You come sit at the table, get a hot meal, tell us about yourself, and you know, hell, even if you just wanted to go and pick up a plate, she's fine with serving you a plate, giving you a talk a little bit, tell you thank you, and hand you your plate. And as long as you had that hot meal to enjoy on a holiday, if you didn't have anyone else, we will step in, because that's what we want to do. We want to make sure everyone is okay. And you know, you've touched on it. You know, money's hard to come by, but what is it?
True.
You know, I can't take it when I'm gone. And you know, Mr. Long, he has the best viewpoint of this. Is I talk to him every now and again, mostly because I have the same problem you do, is I don't shut up. That's why we started a podcast. I mean, you could just keep talking, right?
Oh yeah.
And you know, he sees the trucks and all the stuff that I buy, and I always show it off to him. I never had a grandfather because they passed away before I was born, but you know, he's like a grandfather figure to me. And I made that joke. I said, you know, I have the truck, I bought a trailer, I have this car, I'm working on it. I got no money in the bank, but you know, I can't take it when I'm gone. And he goes, well, you know, that's true. You can't take it when you're gone. And he goes, you know why? He goes, you know what? That's why I'm not going. You know, so I'm going to keep it. So for those y'all that are listening, and if it's something that we can really touch on, either to the mind or to the heart, to the soul, I know you've stated this on your social medias as well as the Raptors and Rifles. Even if it's simple as just reaching out, the DMs on Instagram for Raptorstrike are always open. So feel free to send a message or just like, hey, I saw the podcast, or when's the next event, or if you just need to talk to somebody, just shoot a message. I have it on my phone. Joey has it on his phone.
I had it on my phone, but I deleted it.
He had it on his phone. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
But just reach out. I mean, there's a lot of things. It's as simple as asking for help, and it's probably one of the most difficult. But you're not alone. Just know that we're here with you, in either in spirit, body, sound, mind, and everything in between. We're trying our best to help out and kind of spread this awareness. So just hang in there just a while longer. It may be gray and gloomy now, but better days are to come.
Yes.
If it's not a good time, or if it's not a good ending, it's not the end. So just keep that in mind. Let me try to bring up the energy back, because I know we've had a very roller coaster type style on this
on this one, yeah.
But I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something that we want to show through on the YouTube platform. Is you're not always going to have a good day, and we've covered that. Is you need the bad days to recognize when you have the good days.
Yep.
It's that yin and yang. So I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm not going to lie to you.
That happened to me twice already.
Well, Sal, you got a question?
Nah.
When you go from the cuff, right? You just like, yeah.
So let me transfer back to the Raptor stuff. Are there any plans in 2025 for your truck? Or is there anything else that's subject to change or upgrade?
Or what is done to your truck?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. What is done to it?
Let's see. So it's Fouts' mid-travel up front with their uppers and their lowers. Fox Race Series 3.0s revalved by SDI E-Click 3.0 reservoirs in the front. Let's see what else. Of course, the lockouts. Devers out back with FRSs, but that's about to change in 2025. It'll be HD4s. You're getting my HD3s. And
all right.
and then let's see, 4.0 by 18s through the bed, and then let's see what else. And then it's got, Cobb's intercooler, gearhead tune, Garrett Stage 2 turbos, boost tubes.
Those are factory location turbos, or
they're big boys.
Oh, okay.
They're probably do a retune on E85 this next year.
Ooh.
And then see if we can make 700 rear wheel and keep the motor together, but I may not push it. The truck just rolled 98,000 miles at Jumping for Joy, so it's never been opened besides a valve cover gasket leak, and but
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's doing pretty good. I mean, I talked to somebody the other day and they're like, that's not that many miles. I'm like, yeah.
Well, when they're hard miles.
I said it's like dog years, right? We multiply it by 7. Off-road miles are multiplied by 7 also. And I said, but it's very fun. Oh yeah. Big thing we talked about earlier, like brakes. So it's Alcon's brakes, Alcon front and rear, and then my favorite that my wife hates, my Gold Innovates.
The gold wheels.
Yeah.
Hey, we were both rocking gold wheels for a while now, so I have them there on that one. But
I was gonna try to tick her off, and it's like because I ordered Innovates for the Super Duty, and I was gonna go gold, but I was like, you know what? She likes driving this truck, so I'm not gonna put gold on it. So, it's a few projects. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna try to get into the motor anymore. I want to see if I have enough travel up front, and we'll see how soft it is. It was super soft when we were out there at the Pumpkin Spice. It was like landing on a cloud, and it's just so much better in the front. We'll see if I need more. I mean, I would like to send it harder. I mean, that's part of the whole reason I bought the Super Duty, so I could trailer it and start really pushing it and just see, I just want to just push it even harder. I mean, I guess I do push it very hard. I mean, but everybody gives me crap because, I mean, Brody and Ryan give me crap because I like to do it in 4-wheel high. I said, but them crap just as back. And I'm like, well, that's why I'm faster than you. So it's just, but I'm that same guy that, I don't like jumping it 4 high. I know the truck can do it, but not the big, 10, 12 feet in the air ones. So that's why I've broken 3 transfer case motors. So, because I'm that guy that, Ford, you lied. You cannot shift on the fly at 50 miles an hour out of 4-wheel drive. Does not happen. A little wrench pops up, and then, it's just, then it's my own fault, because it's like, thanks a lot, Fouts. I love the way that you stacked your skid plates that protects everything, but now I have to take every single one off all the way to the rear to get up there to pull that little 3 bolts to pull the transfer case motor. And you have to jack the truck up off the ground and manually switch it back into 2-wheel drive. So yeah, driving it a week like that, stuck in 4 high, yeah, it eats some tires. It's like, you know what I mean? It just, yeah. And then, but just a few more things on the truck. But I mean, I really enjoy it. But the biggest thing, what a lot of people don't understand is, I'll back up. So like all those years that I was in last place for tour, I mean, all I did all the time, like most people would do their day and then they'd go home, and I would stay after and I would talk to Dave, because Dave's an amazing rally car driver, and it does transfer over. The biggest things is I would have Dave get in with me and be like, show me how you drive now. And then we'd make a lap. And he was like, okay, now listen to me. This next time we're going to do this, this, and this. And I'll tell you when to engage. Okay, cool. He's like, left foot, brake, gas, left, right, gas. You know what I mean? And then he was just giving me some pointers, and I would stay after and I'd learn. And then he's like, okay, yep, that was good. Now go out and practice it so you can do it without even really thinking about it. And I'd go out and run 3, 4, 5 more laps. And I would just, everybody else would go home, and I'm there still running 10, 12, 13 more laps. You know what I mean? And just getting used to how the truck, and that's the biggest thing, because everybody's like, buy a Gen 3, they're better. Well, yes, they're better, but I'd have to learn the whole feel of everything again. Like I had to learn to drive my truck again when I did the big turbos, because the way the power came on, the way it's a total different monster. Yeah. So you have to learn to redrive it, and then learning to feel how the balance of the truck feels, and how you connect with it, and you can get to feel it. That's why you were laughing at me when we were up there at ECR and I kept crashing in those $10,000 simulators, because I couldn't feel the turn. I couldn't feel the turn. I couldn't feel like, sometimes, yes, like everybody, I like to listen to music, but most of the time, if I'm really pushing it, it's dead silence. Oh, yeah. Because I like to hear where the motor is. I like to hear how it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're spooling. Yep, we're here where we're supposed to. Okay, yep, the body's leaning. I can feel it. Power in, a little bit left, a little bit right. It's just, you connect with your vehicle. And I have just got mine down to where it's just, I know what it's going to do and how it's supposed to feel. Yeah. And it's just, that's just learning your own vehicle. And then I just don't want to start over.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that we've always talked about, is like, when you change something, learn it. Like, sure, you say I were to jump into your truck, I can drive it at 50% because I need to know its limits. Its limits is completely different from the limits of mine, which they come up pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay. Like, you got to know your limits, right? Like exactly like you said, like for the foot, he's like, I'm gonna get you stickers made. I'm like, what do you mean? She's gonna put it right here in the dash, and it's gonna say, hey, dumbass, you gotta drive this thing home. You know what I mean? She's like, don't push it too hard. Like, especially that's part of the reason too. Like, some of these events, if we're like 5 hours away, knock on wood, thank God I've never had to get towed home. Like, okay, cool, I broke a transfer case. Okay, I drove it home in 4-wheel high to let it eat a little bit of tires. That's fine. Yeah. But, if you're going to keep pushing it, like you said, and if you're going to, sooner or later, like you said, you're going to find the limits, either your limits or the truck's limits. It's going to happen. And that's why you have to know your limits. And that's part of the reason, like, we'll go back. Like you said, I like to talk. We'll go back. Like, now that, I get it. I love new people when they come out. I'm like, what should I do? And I was like, no, start off slow. I said, nobody here is going to make fun of you, because, at the end of the day, who makes the truck payment? You do. Yep. So start off slow. Nobody's going to make fun of you. Start off slow. Get the hang of the turn. Get the hang of this. Next time around, hot lap it. Come right back around. A little bit quicker. Feel it. Feel the brakes, how they engage. Okay, cool. Last time I braked a little too early. I can push a little bit more into the turn. Power up. Okay, slide. Okay, yep. Drift it sideways. Get it. Go back. Learn the vehicle before you really push it. Yeah. Because these aren't trophy trucks. And if you push it too hard, you will break something, and it adds up very fast. So, I mean, some things you're lucky. Okay, brand new truck. Okay, Ford's probably going to cover that. But there's also I went off the side of the road, and like me, I've done it. I went off the side, get a little too sideways. Oh, the truck dipped. It pulled me that way, and it was either do I gas out of it or just try to turn? and I decided I didn't want to rip the whole bed off the truck, so I just barely braked and turned out of it, and then it raked down the whole side of the truck, and that was $9,000 in damage.
Is that the deleted tree that
That's
your
the
wife
deleted
was telling
tree.
us
Yeah,
about?
yeah. Hey, that's her fault though. I was up there, and I was driving for Red Bull, and so I was up there at Rally Ready, and they had a big event, and they invited some of us up to drive. And you know how it is. It's my wife's competitive too, even though she says she's not. And it was like these 3 girls. And they were like,
You're competitive. you're competitive.
And so there was like these 3 girls, right? And she's like, which truck's faster? And now she's like, my husband's truck's faster. You know what I mean? And so they got in with me, and they're like, are you faster? I was like, well, yeah, earlier that was like 50%. And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. I mean, we hit the jump at like 40. We were doing like 50 in the straightaway. I said, when I normally hit that straightaway, I was like, I'm doing almost 80. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I come off that bank wall, my foot's to the floor and I don't lift.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I hit the doubles back there at like 50, 60 miles an hour. And it's like, well, let's do it. And I was like, let's do it, you know? So we come off, and I think I hit the big jump at like 50 something. And I floored again as soon as I land and jumped that other little one. And then I brake as the wall, that banked wall starts is where I brake. I just to the floor.
Oh, I'm usually like 50, 60, 100 feet was when I'm braking
Oh, no.
to go into that.
I'll land off the second one, and I'm rolling into it, and then it's just slam on the brakes, and then it's power, and then you up high on the wall, and then low out. And I just power it, and I come off that first little jump, and then it took me a little bit left, and the road is raised. And what happened was I landed a little too far left, and the front tire slid off the edge of the track. Well, the track's raised. The track's raised right there. And so what it did is it pulled me left. And it pulled the whole truck left. And then it was like, well, do I make a choice? You know, do I just gas out of it and kind of just maybe the rear of the truck will hit? Or would I was like, oh, it'll rip the bed off. Because it wasn't a small tree. I mean, it was, you know, it was like...
It was a tree.
The tree.
It wasn't a shrub.
The tree won. I mean, really did. It just like, I was like, ooh, because it hit the side mirror. It hit my XL80s, bent them back. It cracked the windshield. And then it just raked the whole side. And I'm like, cool, back on the track, floor it. We kept going, and I get back. And you know how it is, you're like, I don't want to get out. I don't want to go look and see how bad this is. And so I got out, and I was like, it's not that bad. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's not that door crease that's supposed to go down. The door crease is here. That's a crease all the way under it. And I'm like, maybe I can get this popped out. So before I did it, I went and looked, and I went to the best PDR guy here in town. And I was like, no, I'll pay you to do it. And he's like, here's the thing. I could spend 5 or 6 hours and probably pop that out. He says, but it's aluminum. He goes, you ever grabbed a soda can and then you dent it and then you try to bring it back out and then you never get it perfect? He goes, I could probably pop it out and get it perfect. He goes, you could hit a small bump leaving this parking lot and it'll go poop and it'll pop right back. He goes, it has memory. Aluminum has memory and you're never going to fix that.
Yeah, that's the never forget foam right there.
Yep. So it was just one of those, well, that's what you get for trying to show off sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's just.
I have mine with Nathan when I was on the side of the berm.
Is that when we were like,
yeah, that's when you were
can't
holding
park here. Right? And you're like trying to hold it up and just.
Yeah, I learned my lesson with that one. No, I didn't, because then I was still doing it after the fact. So, but it's a fact of. Similar to like at ECR when they were giving the off-road class to the veterans, at the very end, is there anything else anybody wants to say? Well, I was kind of looking at the faces of the veterans, and they're like, did I make a mistake coming out? Like, we're telling you all this stuff and we don't want you to be afraid. We're not trying to instill fear. We're trying to just tell you need to respect it.
It's respect.
You need to respect it to know that this truck's doing everything it can to keep you on the road and alive, and you're telling it to do things it really doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
So, but the biggest thing is like, don't be afraid of it. And if you are afraid of it, similar to with the corporate event before that, I had a lady on that off-road. After they go through the water and they do that descend, she was hollering and screaming, but she's like, she said the words, "I'm scared." I was like, oh, hold it. Nope. Like, even if you're saying that as a joke, like, look, breathe with me real quick, dude. Real quick. none of this is supposed to be scary. We're just trying to show you that it can do it.
Yeah.
And we want it. This isn't a roller coaster for you to be, scared of. You're doing it. Just, I go, if worse turns to worse, just hit the brake, stay on the brake. You'll be all right. And she was like, okay, no, I'm ready. I'm like, all right, well, let's give it a shot.
So you didn't tell her when in doubt, throttle out?
No, not on that, because there were some that would do that. And we had that lady that made you sick on the track. She almost hit me on that incline.
I love that though, because I got back, like, I was like, do you drive? She goes, I'm the marketing blah, 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 blah for Toyota. And I was like, oh, okay, she'd probably drive.
Nope.
It was literally, like, you know how you okay, I get it. Starting line, okay, we floor it. But like normal driving, you're like, gap floor. And I was like, that's what got me sick, because it was just like on the gas, on the brake.
Your stomach's here, and then it's here.
There's no gradual. It was like foot to the floor, foot off. Hard brake, foot off. You're like, it's gradual pressure. It just, I don't know. You know what I mean? It was like, I guess I was.
Yeah, so after I heard that he got sick from
called marketing driving.
That lady, well, she did the off-road section, and she shot up the hill and almost hit me to where, like, I almost had to jump off the rocks. And I'm like, and she completely, like, usually you're supposed to stop here, and then I explain to you, and then you do the blind.
She just went right by you.
She went right by me, and I'm like, good luck. Come on. Like, I'd rather me than you, so I'm out of here. You know?
You're like, salute. You're good.
Completely bypassed me, but we're coming up on the end of our time here. But something we do like to do, or we're starting to, is with all of our guests. If you wouldn't mind leaving a signature on our YouTube banner that we have here.
How do you want me to sign it?
Your signature, or literally however you want. If you want to put the Kyle Farley,
you want me to explain the after that?
Yes.
The. Never signed the Kyle Farley before. There we are.
Yeah. It is the Kyle
I
Farley.
just put it's kind of I forget the. My wife's a teacher. She'll probably watch this later and give me crap. She's like, why did you do?
You can leave it in the comments.
She's like, why did you do like normal and then curse for your name? I'm like, because the is the.
It's a word.
Yeah, and
It's
the
not
rest,
my
the rest is me that Noah can copy later to make checks.
Yeah. Why is this check to
Guess who's getting it 2024?
Making them ends meet.
So the Kyle Farley, where'd that come from?
So it was just, we always had between me and Ryan and Brody and Johnny, and I think it was Peter Dunn too, like everybody that was just like quick. And I've always pushed it, like it was part of my I believe in the E-Click, and the SDI, and I was like, everybody's like, why don't you just go FRSs? Just go FRSs. Just go the race series shocks. And I was like, I want to see how far I can push these factory shocks. So that was, to me, it was like, how far can I push it? And that's like, we do all the tour events, and I'd be pretty dang close to all these other trucks, and they had aftermarket shocks, and they had this, and it was just, I'm still on factory shocks. And so I just push it. And then the E-Click helped, and then I did the revalve, and then like I pushed it so hard. A lot of people don't know that, like, in 2 years I rebuilt them 3 times. So can a factory shock do it? Yes. Will it last as long? So I rebuilt them 3 times in that time frame, and maybe 15,000 miles probably each time. I mean, you could tell when they start to go away, and it's just, I think it was this pushing it too hard. Like, can they do it? Yes. Should they? A lot of times. So on one of them, it was there was part of the seal floating inside. So it was they were hurting.
Yeah, I think when I do the HDs that you have or the Devers, I think I'm gonna do a front spring and then get them rebuilt. So might as well. Their first christening.
Yeah, it just because can they do it? Yes. Should they? It all depends. I mean, it is now they're what, like, so they went up again. So now they're like 7,000 and some change. No, I think they're No, they're 8,000. So I mean, you know, and that's expensive.
Yep.
And when it's $800 to rebuild them, that's quite a bit cheaper. Even with $400 to ship them to and from, that's $1,200. You can do it 8 times. So no, 7 times. But back to the story. So I started to push it really hard, and I guess apparently it had other people see it, right? Because I love posting jump videos, and I got some really good ones and some reels that, you know, went pretty good. And so Brody went up to Michigan to the dunes. That's when the Raptor R was coming out. So Ford brought the Raptor and then other Gen 3s out there, and they were out there and just, you know, driving them and enjoying them. And they had some bigwigs, some Ford and some other people out there. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you guys are from Texas? Yeah, we're with Raptors and Rifles and this and that." And I'm like, "Do you guys know the Kyle Farley?" And Brody was telling me this, and I was like, "No, they didn't." And he said, "Yeah, bro, they said the." And I was like, all right, okay, you know. And he's like, so then we were doing the time trials and stuff for that thing at Cycle Ranch, and he's like, all right, next we got the Kyle Farley out here, and I was like, you know what, if you guys are gonna keep this going, I might as well embrace this. So then I was like, Instagram, can I add the? Yes, I can. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I got stickers, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna change my license plate. So I looked, and I couldn't get the, you know, the KF. And I was like, because the DV, you can't, disabled veteran plates, you can't get too many. I was like, we're just gonna do the. so if you look at it, yes, it said V. It's not. It's the DV. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's the. But I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm just gonna embrace it. And then I kind of like it. You know what I mean? So it's. But at the same time, it started off as I was like, no way, these dudes. I was like, he's like, yeah, and I was like, he's like, I don't even remember who it was, but it was a big old story. And I was sitting there, and then so Jason Cook was there, you know, at TMX. He was there, and he's like, yeah, they said it. And he goes, I don't know who it was. He goes, but they said it. And I was like, hey, let's just roll with it, baby. You know, we're just gonna go with it. And ever since, it's stuck, and I like it, you know. So now it's a joke, and it's, but at the same time, I guess it's good. It's just, you know, somebody knew who I was and what I was doing, and they just saw it, and it just. I guess in the end it made me feel good. You know what I mean? Like anything, you know, everybody likes recognition. I mean, sometimes that's not why we do certain things, but everybody likes, in a way, a thank you. You know what I mean? And everybody.
Notice me, senpai.
Yeah. And, you know, and while we're on that subject, I mean, a lot of people don't see what you guys do. A lot of people think it's other people that do it, but I know it's you guys that it's your own money. Like, you know, I know you guys paid for the meals and all the other stuff, and I just wanted to thank you guys for that, and I let you know that I appreciate it. And, you know, people don't see what goes on behind the scenes and stuff, and that you guys truly care. And then just let you know that I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate that a lot. Because, like you're saying, you just go with the motion. Like, at this rate, again, with this group of people, the recognition, everybody couldn't care less. Yeah. And it's just, it happened. Everyone's having a good time, and let's just have fun. You know, let's forget about our problems and our worries for this weekend and just have a good time and make some memories.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, that's like, okay, so I'm going to bring this up too, because other people, they don't give me crap, but they, you know. So the whole sister wives thing, right? Some wife's going to give me crap, but it's, people don't get it, right? So this is how this started. So we would go to TRR, right? And some people bring their spouses, some people don't. They're not that lucky. So mine's like, okay, cool, I'll go with you. And she's riding with me. And then, you know, it is, you're going down the road and you're going, because we both know it's way more comfortable as a driver than it is a passenger. It beats the crap out of you. So my wife would go up there, and then she'd get out and go over to the pool. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm gonna go make another lap. Well, the front half's like 26 miles. Mm-hmm. So it's like an hour and a half. And she's like, where were you? You know what I mean? It's like, the lap. So she gets bored. You know what I mean? And so she, you know, because she doesn't want to do every single lap, but I want to keep going and going and going. And so that's when she invited Becca, you know, her friend. And so now it's like she's got somebody to hang out with if I want to go do it by myself. But see, that plan kind of backfired because Becca enjoys it too. So now she's like, I'll go with you. So she's like, well, I'm not going to stay here by myself. So basically, I got her back in the truck. So now all three of us are doing the laps. But it started off as it's somebody that Ashley could hang out with, so she didn't have to do it all the time with me. But now, like you said, it's people enjoying it.
Yeah.
Right? It's people loving going to events. So now it's like, okay, yeah. So now I bring my wife and her best friend to every single event. It's nothing weird. Other people, it's just, it started
Stop
off.
that. It's not weird.
It started off as so that I could keep driving. And so she wasn't by herself sitting there, just sitting there.
Yeah.
It became to where it's like everything. It's love and off-road.
Yeah.
And
something, now that you mention it, something that I'm enjoying seeing more and more of, the deeper dive we do into all the Raptor stuff, is there's more people showing up that don't even have a Raptor.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I just want to be here. Like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I forgot their names, but they were helping us with the event for Pumpkin Spice. They had done ECR. They went out for the Veterans Day out, or the Veterans Give Back Day at Cycle Ranch. And they're like, no, we're just here to, Brody, if you need some help. So they were with me. I'm like, well, sorry, you two got stuck with me, but,
yeah.
We're going to go man a starting line. They're like, no, we just enjoy being around everybody and just having fun.
Yeah.
So I guess now's a good time to announce, like you're saying, you go out there, you just go spend time with family. My family's been, trying to go out more and more, but we're usually packing everything into a truck. And then you got to unload and load and unload and load. Like, even when it's in my truck, I want to go make a pass. You're taking everything out. So I guess it's a perfect time to what's the word? Announce it?
Yeah.
So Raptorstrike did, we did our two Black Fridays, and one of them is a new race rig, the cargo trailer you saw. And that's going to have our toolboxes. We're going to have extra parts, or at least whatever extra parts we can find. Spare tires. We'll have all our canopies, chairs, the little four-wheeler. And I'm really excited to have that, to have everybody's logos on it. The Raptorstrike logo. Apollo Off-Road, your logo's going on there. I need another one of your stickers, because there's going to be a dedicated area, just like on the truck. If there's anybody with the Raptor and you'll have y'all's Raptor stickers, they're going on the B pillar, those black sections on the windows. I have the driver's side all full, and Bear Raptor, his is starting on the passenger side. So
I got one in the truck.
All right, and then I got to slap it. I'm thinking the back of the trailer is just gonna have everybody's sticker,
like I do on my Yeti.
So,
yeah,
I
love it. Yeah.
So the main part with that is, I think that's gonna be part of the channel. We're gonna do a little build series of like what we're putting in there, how we're setting it up. Yeah, and that way y'all can see it in real time as we're getting it together for the next event, so we can actually finally get to using it. Because I really just got tired of loading everything into the truck, and then getting home and then forgetting about it, going to work, and you're like, I still have all this crap in the truck. So that might really help.
I never unloaded the Raptor. All the stuff's still in the bed for joy.
Yeah. Everything's in the bed of mine, and it's covered in mud. So
chairs.
There's that.
Chairs, tables, all of it. Only thing I brought in, because I learned the whole mildew thing on coolers. Got to take the coolers out, but. Yeah, all the chairs, all the stuff. Yeah, I just was like, sprayed the bed, because I sprayed it off as soon as I got home.
Yeah.
So I was like, and then just let it sit there. I just sprayed off the chairs and stuff in the bed. No, leaving it.
Yeah, well, I'm not moving that. But in the end, let's see. Yeah. So Kyle, again, thank you so much for coming out and carving out some time to sit down with us and do an episode. We greatly appreciate it. For those of y'all watching, as you already know, we're going to be transferring back over to live. You'll have Sal and myself. But the biggest thing, just to do a complete recap of everything going on and what we talked about today. This is the Kyle Farley. You can't miss him. You can't... There's no other Kyle but the Kyle Farley.
Right.
And so thank you again for coming out. We really enjoy and we appreciate your support that you have for Raptorstrike and for all of the events, all the work that you put in, like you said, in the background that nobody really realizes. But other than that, we will catch y'all on the next episode. Hopefully we can have we'll have you a part of more of our regular actual
this
videos.
was fun. I enjoyed it.
So no, but I really appreciate it. Next we got to call out Kenny.
Yeah,
we need Kenny.
Kenny, we need you in the seat over here.
There's a chair.
There's a chair
currently occupied by
his name's already written on it.
No, that's attached. That's your.
Oh, what?
No, but thank you very much, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas to you guys too.
And,
Thank you for having me.
We'll be along for the journey for 2025. So, back to you guys in the studio. All right, how did everybody enjoy that?
That was good. I liked it.
Awesome.
10 out of 10.
So we still have Joey on here. For everyone that's still watching, this is, like I said, is our very first hybrid. There will come times where I'm not a part of the podcast, or at least part of the interview, or Sal's not a part of the interview. One of the things we were trying to do, which I couldn't find one in time, was the little substitute Pokemon to have. So we have this Raptor here with the headphones for Joey, but he's here on a call. And Joey, what did you think of this setup?
I liked it.
Joey's, was it? Oh,
The fan's in like the correct spot, and it looks like you're wearing a propeller hat.
that one came in from Leo. But the main thing, Kyle, thank you so much for coming out and making some time to sit down with us and talk. Thank you for all the support that you give to us. As y'all can see, hold on, let me move out of the way. I got my Ichi Clothing Company shirt on. Let me show the back. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that.
Got Weeb shirt on.
So, don't forget to take a look at the Raptorstrike.net website. We have all of our supporters,
Raptorstrike.net.
all of our supporters, sponsors, partners, as well as all of our promo codes. For Ichi Clothing Company, it is a 15% off your entire order. Then we have the 10% off for R&R Off-Road, as well as Think Pink and more. 5% off for CVF, or CV Fabrication on your order from their website. We are trying to do more of these partnerships where we can offer discount codes. A big thing we talked about with Kyle was, money's hard to come by. So is there any way that we can ease that fact or get y'all a discount? We'll do it. So from here on out, we are looking to do 2 more episodes for this year. And we're lining up for the very first episode of 2025 to be episode 50. And we got something very special planned for everybody.
Facts.
Joey, you got anything?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Sal?
And for me.
All right. So this has been the Raptorstrike podcast, episode 47, featuring the one and only, the Kyle Farley. Kyle, thank you again so much for coming out. And for everybody that stayed and watched for the last hour, you had the last hour to do absolutely anything else on this planet, and you decided to spend them here with us and along with Kyle Farley. And for that, we thank you very much. Take a look at the website. If you're new here, subscribe, share, whatever you'd like. And with that, we guys will see you on the next one. Be careful out there. We love you.